Welcome back to Dove Twang. I'm Dave. So on the twang, we don't really do tricks, shortcuts, how to play like a pro in 5 days. We just don't really do it. That stuff's fun on YouTube. But on this channel and over here on the Patreon side, it's really kind of a, more traditional sort of real world, music training education kind of situation. I don't mean to make that sound like it's not fun, but the reason is there's if we want to learn like a certain cover song or a certain famous lick or something, it's all been done. Brilliant stuff all over YouTube, right? So this is, and we want to use a lot of different resources in self-teaching, right? So, if you want to learn, Crossroads, man, there's some killer videos on there, about how to play that famous solo and stuff. And that's really important stuff depending on what style you're into. So on the twang, it's like you're part of your guitar workout week where you really kind of invest in sounding like you, right? Um, and so the tools that I'm sharing with you are things that are set up to get you into a space of exploring your own musical sensibilities and style. All right, I know I've mentioned that, um, you know, often from time to time. It's important. You don't have to buy into that. You can just watch the lesson and say that was cool or not, and move on. But that's kind of the suggestion, right, of what you're stepping into when you watch these videos. And this one certainly fits that philosophy. So, what this is about today is some phrasing ideas, but even more sort of as a prerequisite to that is some really essential feels of just playing. We're going to use the E minor pentatonic scale to demonstrate this. And then we'll get into a little bit more phrasing here in probably the second half. But we're going to start off just by kind of counting, and playing like, eighth notes and then triplets. And so we're going to do some four feeling stuff and some three feeling stuff. Okay. And then see if you can get to where you can kind of alternate back and forth between those without too much, adjustment time. And the reason that's important is that when you're playing licks, very often, even a short lick will include some even numbered beat stuff and some triplet stuff or some three feel. I say three feel instead because it could be a stretched out feeling of three or it could be a real rapid feeling of three, right? And don't worry if you're not used to some of these terms. We're going to demonstrate it here. And if you are used to this stuff and you're thinking like, yeah, I watched the intro and I kind of already see everything that's going on there, right? That's great. But stick around. You just need to challenge yourself to like, okay, what can I do? What kind of routine can I create for practicing where I'm alternating between a couple things that I'm not that used to, right? So it's not, the methodology will work at any level. You just have to figure out what's the appropriate thing for you to be practicing, right? Now let's look at this backing track real quick. It's A minor 7 and E minor 7, okay? So the A minor, I'm playing. Let me stop this for a second. I'll show you this E minor. It's kind of a side note here, but it's nice to get a little bonus, the info, related to the backing track too. And then hopefully you're saving these backing tracks, and they're MP3s. They're yours. There's no property issues with that, like there is on YouTube. Any of that. You just take it and do whatever you want with it. give it to your friends, take it to band practice, make songs out of it. It's yours. Um, so I'm just glad everybody's using it, for good. So I'm doing the A minor 7 like that. And then I'm just going, that's just kind of I would say a Robin Trower kind of lick up on minor of switching to another chord. And that's just a 3-note minor 7 form. When you have when you want a minor 7 chord that's rooted on the 5th string, you can play the root with your first finger, then the flat 7 under there on the same fret, and then the minor 3rd. And that's just a real clean, there's no 5th in there, and there's no duplicate octave. It doesn't sound like a bar chord, it's just a real compact. That's another way you could make A minor or A minor 7. Okay, so that's all that's going on there. Now I'm using the E minor pentatonic scale for this demonstration and the rest of this video, with one note occasionally added. And I'll tell you right now, before we turn it back on, which one it is. It's the C. It's the minor 3rd of the A minor chord. And because I can't live without it. I'm using the E minor pentatonic, works great, and you can get warmed up on that. But listen, when I put that C in there at certain times, it just is such an exponent to that E minor pentatonic. It just really lets you add so many more interesting lines. Okay, so there's a little melodic system to work with in this, and now we just want to, go back to the, some form of the E minor pentatonic that you're comfortable with, and just think about some stuff that has a even or 4 divisible by 2 or 4, because we're in a time signature of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and then E minor, 2 and 3 and 4, again, and 2 and 3 and 4, A minor, and right. Hear how there's a lot of stuff going on in that guitar rhythm on the track, on the and, especially on the and of 2. 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, so you can dig around in there for some ideas too. But now I'm just going to go in 8th notes using the E minor pentatonic. Do it wherever you want. I'll start with. I already did it, didn't I? I already put my C in there. So, okay. All right, just get warmed up. Those are 16ths. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a Okay. So see, most of our phrases they shift. Now, see how things aren't just one and do daka, right? That wider kind of in between sound. All right, that's a big shift in like just kind of the sort of math of it, right? And rather than try to count out every aspect of this 3-part, let's just do the first one that's really essential, that's not difficult. A triplet on each beat. So you're dividing each beat into 3 parts instead of 2 like you did with 8 notes. 1 da da 2 2 3 and 4 and 1 and da 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 1 2 3 da 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 dum da da da. Okay, looks easy, right? But if you're not used to that, you might, as soon as you have to move positions or something, it might throw you off, right? Go up to like your shape 1, you know. Now start phrasing it right away. You know, do it a couple times, then do a held note or a rest. Okay, now I'm doing some note skipping and stuff in that scale. But the only rhythmic difference that I'm doing there is really going from eighths to triplets, right? Okay, now, and really, use repetition too. It doesn't have to always be moving through the scale continuously. The same note. Right, so. So get used to kind of hanging out, repeating, maybe with triplets, and then doing more of like a looser 16th or 8th note sort of lick to kind of come out of that tension, right? So you see that there's a symbiotic exchange between the tension and the release rhythmically, as well as with melodies. faster triplets, right? Turn this off. We've had that backing track on a long time on this, but because we're playing here. So, right? It's just kind of like things are being divided in half in the space that they're occupying, but there's that three feel or that two or four feel, right? And when you want to have a simple routine at first. It might be right, 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 4 2 3 1. Okay, now for some of you, that's going to be it, and that's going to be killer for you to just go around in the different shapes of that minor pentatonic and be able to move through those positions and transition from one to another and still keep that feeling, right? Um, Take it slow. If the backing track, I put it at a moderate tempo. If it's still a nuisance, what the tempo is, then just right. And don't forget to repeat notes. Now, you put some bends and stuff in there and kind of, you know, before you know it, you will feel a different kind of intuitive way of arranging these things. You're not just kind of counting. And if you lose count, good, right? But your hand is still, playing that feeling. Now, I want to talk real quick about like a slower three feeling, like well, now I want to do it with the track, so I give you the right tempo. But something like this. Those are eighth notes, right? We don't have to get into like those. Some of the notes fall in some places that aren't that simple to account for in the measure. So just do this part by example, but this is slower. Now I'll do some eighth. Mixing them. Okay. Looks like my backing track ran out on me right there. So I put it right under 20 minutes because that's my limit, right? So we hit the limit right there. And so that's not a nice tidy wrap up there, I guess, at the end. But there's three or four different kind of feelings of timing that were demonstrated throughout all of that. You can watch this one a couple of times and stop it at certain places. Get on the scale. Don't worry about the note for note stuff. Just say, I'm on that E minor pentatonic, and just play along with each one of those feelings and stop it. Do your own thing, then start it back up. And there's a bunch of examples in there of the different feels, and then just start mingling them in your own way. Let me know how this goes. I'm excited for some of you about this because I know that it doesn't get featured as much, and I've seen this before. I don't know why I don't feature it more often, because I've seen people take this triplet thing and just like, bam, change their whole guitar world, profoundly. Okay. A lot of us are playing in like a four feeling all the time, or most of the time. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate all the support. I'll see you next week.